So continuing from the last video, we're going to start on the IK arms. So the first thing I want to do is add an IK handle for the main arm. So to make things a little easier, I'm just going to rotate the forward K arms out of the way. So now I know here is the IK arms. And I'm also going to open up the hypergraph as I like to work in it. So to add the IK handle, open up the options. And we want to make sure this is a role-playing solver because we need a pole vector later. And everything else looks good. So I'm going to select the IK shoulder and shift select the wrist to add the IK handle. Now we also need another IK handle, this time now a single chain. So if we go to skeleton IK handle tool and switch it to single chain, we need this one from the wrist to the end. And we could name these IK handle arm left. And this one's the hand left. So next we need our IK control. So I'm going to import in my my arrow control. And holding down the V key, I'm going to snap it over to the wrist. And I just realised I forgot to word align the hands before I started rigging it, which is okay, we can fix that in a minute. But at the moment you see this hand is at a slight angle. Now you really want these to be pointing straight, so that when you go into the graph editor and animating, you know everything's word aligned, as opposed to if you want to rotate it in one axis in the graph editor, if it's word aligned it will be one axis. At the moment it's going to be two axes to because we'd have to rotate it round and then rotate it up. So I'm going to quickly fix that by deleting this IK handle, and we're going to rotate this. Oops. And that looks good. And I'm going to add back that IK handle. And rename it again. Of course this should also have been done to the forward K hand, and we can still do that now. Oops. So I'm actually going to use the parent constraint again to orientate it. Of course delete the constraint because we don't need it. And we can also orientate the joint. Sorry, freeze the joint. We just want the rotation. So that way now the control is at 0. Okay, so now let's move this back out of the way again. Now I fixed that. I'm now going to just shape this a little better. Just scale it down, move it over a bit, and rename it to hand control left. And now we just want to simply parent both of these IK handles to the control. And we can freeze its transformation. Now we should, if we switch this to IK, we now have an IK control for our hand. Of course we're still missing the pole vector. So let's add that next. Again, I'm going to import in my pole vector curve. See where it came in. There it is. I'm going to snap it to the elbow joint and then pull it back into position. Not forgetting to rename it. Pole V arm left. And this one I'm going to parent to the chest control and freeze it. So now we can select the curve, select the IK handle, do constraint, pole vector. So we should now have a fully working IK arm as well. And our pole vector. So the last thing to add is an extra control for the clavicle, so we can shrug the shoulders and things. So again, I'm going to import in my little cube. Of course, you can choose any shape you like. I'm going to hold down the V key and snap it onto the clavicle. And I'm just going to parent this to the the top spine control. P to parent. I'm going to quickly shrink it down a little. That's good. And then to control it is a simple parent constraint. So now we can select this, actually just rename it. So clav control left. And we now have our clavicle control, which I forgot to freeze. So it's unfortunately quickly deletes the parent constraint again. Freeze the control. Now add the parent constraint. Maintain offset. That's a bit better. And it's parented to this, so it will follow. So the next thing I want to add is the visibility for the controls, based on whether you're in IK or forward K. So I'm going to select the hand shape, and we're going to use a set driven key. So making sure that is the driver for the IK forward K switch. And I'll start with the forward K, so load up the forward K shoulder, select its visibility as the driven, and the IK4K switch as the driver. So when this is in IK mode, we want this to be invisible. So let's turn it off and hit keyframe. I'm going to switch to forward K, because we want this to be visible now. So key that. And then same for the IK. We'll select the IK hand control, load it as driven. Of course, when this is in forward K, which it is, we want to hide this. Set a keyframe. Switch it to IK and make it visible again, and hit key. Oh, and we can do the same for the pole vector. So we're on IK mode at the moment, so key that, and in forward K we want it invisible, and key again. And there we go. So the arm rig is nearly there. One of the last things I want to do is start cleaning things up. So I'm going to start with these IK handles. I'm going to add them to my don't touch layer, making sure that's off and locked. Then I'm going to start locking out some of the attributes I don't want people to animate. So for the IK control, we don't need scale or visibility, so I'm going to lock and hide it. Same for the pole vector, lock and hide the scale and visibility. And if we switch this to forward K and select all the forward K controls, we only need rotation. So I'm going to select the translate scale, visibility and radius, and lock and hide selected. Actually the same for the clavicle, that only needs rotation. So lock and hide everything else. We also have these extra locators, which I'm going to hide in the don't touch layer. Well, I think that's about it for the arms. We have our IK forward K working, we have forward K controls and IK controls. Pole vectors all working, and our clavicle. So until next time, thanks for watching.